So hey Lawn Care Nation, I'm here outside one of my customer properties. I mowed this property last week. It was all fine. I took over this property about midway through this season, and then they texted me last week asking me what was wrong with the lawn, that there was a big huge patch that looked like it had been torn out, and asked me if it was like that when I was here last week to mow. Of course it wasn't. It looked perfectly fine. I had some suspicions of what was going on, and came today to mow the lawn, had a look, and my suspicions were confirmed. So let's take a look. Okay, so this is one of my client properties. I mowed this last week. It was totally perfect. I got a call from the client saying that wondering what happened to the lawn, that there was an area that was looked like it had been torn out, wondering if something got spilled on it or anything. So this week when I'm here to mow it, I had to look at it. You can see signs of turf being pulled up in areas, and I used my heel of my boot to kick back some soil, and look what we see here. A bunch of grubs. So it's looking like she's got a European chafer beetle infestation, which is quite common here in the Vancouver, British Columbia area and suburbs. Although the city of Vancouver has been dealing with it for about the past 6 or 7 years. Here in the suburb where I am at, there's a large Fraser River that divides the area, and we haven't had to deal with it for the past 6 or 7 years. But over, I think, the last 2 years ago, we started to see signs of it on this side of the river. So it's obviously crossed over. And this is the first real case that I've seen it on this side, where you can see the amount of damage there, where the skunks and crows will come along at night, and they can tell that the grubs are under there, and they'll take a perfectly nice lawn like this and they will tear it up looking for those grubs to eat. So it can be absolutely devastating in a neighborhood, especially considering that these grubs are very hard to deal with. There's really only two ways that you can deal with these. One is by using a chemical called merit, but it is banned in most areas. The other is using beneficial nematodes, which are basically like little parasitic worms that you water into the lawn, and they'll go out through the soil and seek the grubs to kill those off. The only problem is with either method that you choose, they're only effective during the 3rd week of July. Just that single week in the entire year is it effective to kill the grubs. Apparently the chemicals and stuff aren't effective once they get to that stage, past that 3rd week of July. So very difficult, and in a lot of communities in Vancouver, British Columbia, and some of the suburbs that have been dealing with this, because of the how hard it is, and that sort of very narrow window of opportunity to treat the grubs. A lot of people have just given up and have torn out lawns and just put rock gardens instead, or trying different alternatives like mulch and things like that instead of grass, because it's a ongoing issue year after year after year. One of the best defenses against European chafer beetle is to have a healthy lawn. So hopefully with this lawn, I picked up this client this year, hopefully by taking over this property that was fairly neglected, wasn't getting fertilized and aerated and stuff properly. So hopefully with this particular lawn, over the next few years, we'll be able to get it really healthy, to increase those turf roots, because once you get a chafer beetle infestation, those little grubs there, they're feeding off of the turf roots, and when there's not enough root left on, say, a neglected lawn, which may have very short roots to start with, the lawn starts to show signs, and that sort of indicates to the wildlife that there is grubs, and then they'll come and tear it out. Whereas if you have a really healthy lawn, you've got really long 6 to 8 inch roots on it, those grubs are still going to feed on the root, but there's still going to be you know, tons and tons of root left over to keep the lawn sustained. And even though there'll be the grubs in the lawn's not going to show those key indicators to wildlife, and then they don't bother coming in and tearing out the lawn, because there's other lawns, you know, across the street and stuff that are neglected, that you know, basically guarantee a free meal in those, where here, you know, they'd be nothing really telling them that you know, there is these grubs. But yeah, just absolutely brutal. So that's it for this one, guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you have European chafer beetle in the area that you service your properties in, or if you have any other pests that you have to deal with on an annual basis. So that's it for this one, guys. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.